Good morning, good morning. Alrighty then. Okay, so the first thing I did was yesterday I took the booster shot and it didn't hurt. That time they put it in between the fat and the meat. But the first two, they just stuck it right into the meat, so it hurt really bad. And this one is just a little sore, so even though they claim that it's not gonna help with the Omicron, um, I still went and got it because just to be responsible. But yeah, you have to go to the local drugstore, and I don't. They probably do walk-ins, but you could just go to like CVS.com and do like the COVID vaccination, and then fill it out. I just put I didn't have any insurance, and we got it for free. Um, I think it's free either way, but if you have a specific carrier, I wouldn't lie and say that I don't. Just because they may double check, I would assume. Because I did have to put like my social in the site. So I wonder what happens to the foreigners. I never asked if they have social security numbers. They must, right? Because how else can they file their taxes? Um, so I guess they get one once they uh, apply for it, I guess, right? You apply for a social security number. Okay, so unfortunately, we see over here we have killed by a pill bought on Snapchat. The counterfeit drug poisoning U.S. teens. Accidental deaths soar among young people amid a proliferation of fentanyl-filled pharmaceuticals. So, this is unfortunate. We got a little weather situation going on. We have a COVID pandemic, like a chemical warfare almost, dealing with specific groups that I don't want to say because I don't want anybody to feel like I'm doing any sort of hate mongering. I do wish that United States was a little bit more proactive, such as allowing the drugs to be legal. However, in hindsight view, if they was legal, what's going to stop the fentanyl from not still coming over? If you look at it, I think it's just like if you go to the store and you want to get, excuse me. So you go to the store and you want to get a Gucci bag, but they only have like the counterfeit ones. You won't get it. So I'm assuming, like with the fentanyl, if United States made drugs illegal, like how they do in South America, the drugs illegal. Now they're not completely legal. Like you can't have like all these a whole pound of drugs on you, and you can't have but like there's still stipulations, but all in all, it's legal. So let's read. 14-year-old Olandra Salinas had set out on her new white sneakers and packed her backpack the night before the first day of in-person high school when police say she responded to an officer offer, excuse me, not an officer, an offer on Snapchat for blue pills, which turned out to be deadly fentanyl. Her mother couldn't wake her up the next morning. 17-year-old Zachary Ditter was waiting to hear back on his college application when the fake Percocet killed him. Sammy Berman Chapman, a 16-year-old straight A student, died in his bedroom after taking what he thought was a single Xanax. Their tragedies are part of an explosion of drug-related deaths among the U.S. high school and college-age youth, fueled by what experts say is a flood of fentanyl-filled counterfeit pills being sold on social media and sometimes delivered straight to kids' homes. National statistics show a huge surge in drugs-related deaths during the pandemic, with fatalities leaping to more than almost 100,000 in 2020 and 32% rise from 2019. But no groups have seen a faster rise than youth under 24, according to the Guardian analysis of the 2020 federal data. Among his age group, accidental drug deaths increased by 50% in a single year, taking almost 8,000 young lives in 2020. Experts say a large proportion of this increase is due to the vast quantities of fentanyl streaming into the United States. In California, where fentanyl deaths was rare just 5 years ago, a young person under 24 is now down every 12 hours, according to the Guardian analysis of state data through June 2021. That's a 1,000% increase over 2018. According to the data from California Department of Public Health Drug Overdose Dashboard. Excuse me. Now this right here is correlated with another story I saw. Fentanyl, a cheap synthetic opiate up to 100 times more potent than heroin, is not only getting mixed with traditional street drugs such as heroin, cocaine, methamphetamine, and marijuana. Federal authorities say it is being pressed into millions of pills that look exactly like traditional pharmaceuticals. Now, see, here's the problem. The research I did pretty much said that let me just say it like this. There were a bio something. All right, don't put this in stone, but technically it was saying that China is the main manufacturer of synthetic drugs, right? So we all know that they've been seeing synthetic drugs or marijuana. I think they call it THAA or something like that. Don't mess with it. Okay, y'all? Nothing synthetic. And unfortunately, a lot of us don't know. Some of us may be immune. Like, it's what they call a medical miracle, where some people are immune to stuff and other people are not. But technically what it was saying was that synthetic drugs, right? So it's like instead of for buying a Gucci bag, you get a knockoff, and that's what a synthetic drug is. Problem is that it encompasses with fentanyl. So although, see, your pharmacist can give you a fentanyl pill, but I believe they know better than that considering what happened. However, they have moved onto the street agenda. Unfortunately, I've seen some information that states that United States drugs are almost the backbone of the federal, how do you say it? The drugs in the United States, the sales proceeds, are technically like the backbone of United States economy. Came across some data like that. But again, don't put it in stone, but I can, anything somebody needs me to research, I'll be more than happy to do. But basically anything that's like synthetic, like when us girls, we might know about that Calicolon hair, the synthetic hair where it burns easy. It's like that. It's not real hair, it's synthetic, meaning it's not real cocaine, it's synthetic. It's not real heroin, it's synthetic. So it's not real marijuana, it's synthetic. So we got to stay away from it. If because some brick and mortar stores may actually have something in there that's legal, but then they may have something that's synthetic. I'm not for certain if it's cheaper that way or whatever. Let's continue reading. It said the potency of the Confederate pill can vary dramatically. Federal agents seized nearly 10 million counterfeit pills in the first 3 quarters of 2021, more than the previous 2 years combined. And tests conducted on the pills showed that 2 out of 5 of the counterfeits contained enough fentanyl to kill, according to the Drug Enforcement Administration. Oh no, I hope he's not putting hand sanitizer in his ear. Oh, so like people get ringing in the ear? I thought that's because somebody is around you with a dog whistle. Guys, y'all be surprised how much of a kid somebody is as it pertains to what you got going on. Meanwhile, experts say drug dealing has moved away from dark alleys and street corners on social media, enabling people to buy what they think are Xanax, Percocet, and oxycodone tablets from the privacy of their bedrooms. These are not overdose, these are poisoning. A non-profit fighting pharmaceutical counterfeits. Nobody dies from taking a Xanax. Nobody dies from taking a Percocet. These are fake pills. Yeah, they are poison. The thing with China manufacturing these synthetic drugs, we don't want anything synthetic drugs. We don't want a synthetic, tea. Why can't I just have the regular leaf? Just give me the leaf of the tea. I don't need a fake or synthetic leaf and be, you know what I'm saying? So the thing is that China cannot consume their own water. So who knows what they do when it rains? I believe it's called acid rain, where they can't drink their water and stuff. So in my mind, they could just technically freeze their water or however, or color code it, and then wham bam, send it over to you. And or if they put their water in something, like when they wash it, I don't know. But that's something to think about. Their culture is in a way to where, everything is bad. And if we don't take a stop and say, look, enough is enough when it comes down to the money, right? Because most people just want enough money so that they can have cronies. They don't want money so that they could be, set. But they want money so that they can have people to beat up on. In this teen's first year, 2018, there were 92 fentanyl deaths in San Diego County this year. This stuff doesn't discriminate. We go and deal with a dead person who's homeless. Then we get another call and we're in the house that's worth $12 million and the person's dead from the same drug. Yeah, a lot of people think that you can self-contain drugs and violence and bigotry and sexism and all those isms are self-contained. No, it doesn't work that way. And this little kid right here, on the morning of June 23rd, 2020, it all became personal. Brian's partner called him to say her 14-year-old nephew was found unconscious in his bedroom 40 minutes away from Orange County. 14-year-old right here, y'all. So that could have been anybody, you know what I'm saying? Back in the days, And this is what we're looking at as we continue to not look at the person. See, the word says that protect the weaker vessel. And another scripture that I really, really like. This is how you get these pastors to get out your face when they start talking about tithing. The word says, if you give to the poor, it's like lending to God. Lending. And if you want to lend to anybody, I want to lend to the person who created, lend to the person who created everything. And so with those kind of strategies to where you're trying to help out the most vulnerable, that's when it benefits the majority, because majority are very vulnerable. But this story reminds me, this story seems similar to this one. I hate it when that happens. I can't find it. Hold up. Oh no. Let's look at the hairstyles. So we know we're interested. Right here. Thailand sees 300, I'm assuming that's abbreviation for million, of crystal meth hidden in punching bags. Boxing punch bags. They miss, that's a little typo. Thailand. Authorities have seized crystal methamphetamines with a street value of almost 30 million, stuffed inside boxing punching bags, which were bound for Australia. Customs officers inspected the shipment after growing suspicious of the Thai-made training equipment, which is not in high demand in Australia. Thai and Australians' official investigation of the matter told a news conference in Bangkok. More than 425 pounds of drugs, also known as ice, were hidden among 15 different bags. Surrounded by cameras, a Thai customs official sliced through a long cardboard box, and then the red outerlay of the boxing punching bag exposed to drugs hidden amongst the stuffing. Australia consumes around 11 tons of methamphetamines per year. Australian Borders Force Acting Superintendent Joe Cathrutter said, so there's a market for it, and disturbing its offshore in countries such as Thailand is fantastic. And disrupting its offshore in countries such as Thailand is fantastic. Methamphetamines production in Southeast Asia Golden Triangle, a border region between Thailand, Laos, and Myanmar, has been increasing sharply in recent years, according to the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime. So there's another story where the people was in Australia, or bombed for Australia with ice up on the marijuana pots. So let's see where Australia is on the map. Okay, so now let's see, where's Thailand. Here you go. Next to Vietnam, Philippines right there. So they said that's a golden triangle. There's China. So technically they said Thailand, but we could say China, right? China was about to send, and they're not saying it. You know why they're not saying the narrative like that is confusing. It's considered Asia. Okay, so Asia is the continent. China would be the country. Okay. Politically correct, it's not China, it's Asia, the continent. But they're all like, you know, well, they could have a different government system in Thailand, right? So I keep on saying Taiwan. Let's look that up. Taiwan. Excuse me. Hey, Jabil. Oops. What's the difference between Taiwan and Thailand?
Thailand, make it simple. Is, I don't know exactly where Thailand is at. Taiwan, depending on who you ask, is a different country. Off the coast of China.
Okay, so we should see Taiwan over here, but I don't see it. Oh, there you go. You're right. So there's Taiwan, and I guess we need to keep an eye on it. But with that kind of money value, it's unfortunate that people. I mean, we don't want synthetic. Nobody is going to be able to take synthetic crystal meth. Let alone like just a natural crystal meth. But it's terrible because you can find some folks that actually take that stuff and give it to people. Sell it to people. As we can see, those Snapchat had someone selling it. And I guess whoever was selling it was planning hard enough to make certain that they don't get caught. Several people injured at the fire at Exxon Oil Refinery in Texas. A fire at the Exxon Mobil Oil Refinery in Texas left several people injured early Thursday after what officials and local residents suggest may have been an explosion. At least 3 people were transported to a hospital by air ambulance as authorities responded to the major industrial accident in Baytown, just over 25 miles east of Houston. They had some injuries reported. It asked residents to avoid the area. That was around 1 a.m. Local time, 2 a.m. Eastern Standard. In a separate statement, Harris County Sheriff Ed Gonzalez said at least 4 people had been injured, with 3 taken to hospital by air ambulance. A 4th person was also being transported to hospital, he said. Gonzalez said initial reports suggest that some type of explosion had occurred inside the plant. He said that for now there were no indications that nearby residents would need to evacuate the area and shelter in place. Speaking at a news conference at around 5:30 a.m., Rohan Davis, a refinery manager at the ExxonMobil site, said that all 4 people in hospital appeared to be in stable condition. He said that all other personnel at the site had been accounted for. Davis said he could not confirm whether an explosion had taken place at the facility. At this time, we're collecting all the information, and they're going to do a thorough investigation. Several residents took to Twitter describing the explosion strong enough to rattle their homes. It rumbled apartments, knocked pictures off the wall. Hoping everyone is safe at Exxon tonight. And they had the emergency response team working to extinguish the fire. The company said its industrial hygiene staff were monitoring the air quality at the site and fence line. It said that so far there appears to be no adverse impact due to the blaze. Our first priority is people in the community and our facilities, the company said, apologizing for any disruption or inconvenience that this incident may have caused the community. The facility houses a chemical plant, an olefins plant, and a 560 barrel per day oil refinery, according to Rutgers. This sounds bad. I mean, let's look at this one. So it says here multiple lawmakers shot by snipers at Christmas party. This was it might have been in the Philippines. At least two Philippine lawmakers, including a major and a vice national candidate. That's a governor. Were struck by snipers fires at the Christmas party in Tangup City in the Misamis Accidental Province in the southern Philippines on Wednesday night. Police said former Oro I was reading, but I had the phone on mute, my microphone on mute. Um, a Pennsylvania family is mourning the death of a 10-year-old daughter who participated in the TikTok blackout challenge that was shared on the social media app. The challenge calls for TikTok followers to hold their breaths until they black out while recording themselves in hopes of increasing their views to obtain viral notoriety. Nylin Anderson took part in the dangerous challenge while in her bedroom of her family's Chester home and was later found unresponsive last Sunday. The preteen was immediately transported to the local hospital, but she was declared deceased. Now, Nayla's family is cautioning parents to heavily monitor their children's cell phones because they were unaware that their daughter would find such a challenge intriguing. Well, I mean, it doesn't sound like it's too hard to do, you know. I would not assume that someone would die like that, but it does seem very possible that once you pass out, that you suffer, you know, could pass out where your mouth and your nose is covered. So perhaps something like that happened. So we have a recall from Home Depot and Costco. So there's a good chance you rely on Home Depot and Costco to purchase or make improvements around your home. Whoa. However, you may want to check to see whether you've purchased one of the items that's on recall. Oh, I was hoping they would have told us. So um, Arizona dad roommate arrested after 60-year-old girl contracts STDs. That had to hurt. Why he kicked it like, ooh, no. No. I like that kind of football better than you know, the American football, but yeah, he just stepped on that man's head. Ooh, is that a piece of, oh my goodness, he just, so that was an accident. That one was an accident. After he released the ball, he still hit him. That one has good balance. Okay, let's Hey, let's hear this one. Okay, I want to hear this one now.
2 ounces of marijuana. Police say that's what motivated 3 teens to kill a 33-year-old man in Bethesda.
And that was the second time this month pot was a factor in a Montgomery County murder. 7 News reporter Kevin Lewis, live for us outside District Court in Rockville, where all 3 of those teens went before a judge earlier today. Kevin.
Well, Dave, today I asked police how much an ounce of marijuana costs on the street. They said around $250. In other words, authorities allege that these teens fatally stabbed this man for around $500. On Sunday, 18-year-old Blaise Uchimadu and 2 other teens, ages 16 and 17, allegedly met up with a 33-year-old drug dealer at the shops of Wisconsin in downtown Bethesda. Police say the trio took this exterior stairwell 1 flight down to the basement, where they pulled out a knife and stabbed Lawrence Wilson Jr. to death over 2 ounces of marijuana. On Monday afternoon, a man called the 2nd District Police Station. He reported that his nephew claimed to have killed a man outside the Target in Bethesda. 5 hours later, a patrol officer located Wilson Jr. dead at the base of this stairwell.
Under Maryland law, they are not eligible to be weighed back to juvenile court because of their ages and the nature of the charge.
Montgomery County State's Attorney John McCarthy said, although the shopping plaza, which has a Target and Trader Joe's, stays very busy, the victim's body went undiscovered for around 24 hours.
It's a lower level stairwell that really goes to an emergency exit that only allows people to leave. It is dark down there, it's isolated. It's not a place that people regularly go.
All 3 teens lived in a group home at the National Center for Children and Families along Green Tree Road in Bethesda. According to court documents, 1 teen told police while being arrested, quote, "Is that dude really dead?" Now, sources say the victim here, Lawrence Wilson Jr., had a fairly lengthy criminal record and had been in and out of homeless shelters in recent years. Authorities allege the robbery was planned, but haven't said if they think the killing was too. We're live outside District Court in Rockville tonight. I'm Kevin Lewis.
Kevin, thank you. Kevin.
Hairstyles that can make any woman look years younger. Experimenting with haircuts and styles can be a blast at any age, but as we get older, it becomes even more important to find a cut that flatters. And even better if it knocks off some years. Finding a new style depends on a very few different factors: your facial structure or facial features, the texture of your hair, and the amount of time you're willing to spend on it. But other than that, it's all about trying new looks and finding the one that you love. So the short wedge. Oh, this is one of those that we got to do next. The fullness with the shag. That's the shag, y'all. I think we call this a bob. Oh, this is a bob. Pixie cut. A wonderful wedge. Waves of gray. All right, so my big screen is starting to buffer. I'm just gonna go ahead and end it for now. All right, so thank you so much for tuning in. Please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, and if you know anybody that you think will like hearing the news, share this video with them and have them to subscribe also if they want to. So until next time, family, stay blessed.